today's construction, day 72.
All right, got some good news. We're pouring the main beams on the left side of the house tomorrow, which is Saturday. I had to sweeten the pot a little bit to get it done. The guys tried to push it to Monday, so I'll tell you that backstory up at the work site. We also went up to pick our roofing color and talk through with the company who's going to provide the roofing for the project. We went up there today. Really couldn't shoot any video there. It's a pretty small office, and it just didn't seem right to shoot a video in there. There was about 10 people in a little room. It was very cramped, so we decided not to shoot the video. But I'll update today you guys on how that went. So see you guys up at the work site. So I just want to give you guys a look from afar of the fence. So I'll zoom in just a bit, and you can see they still got work to be done, but definitely making progress. Got two guys up here today, Dino and Vince, and that that large area is going to take some time, and you can see that they started to bring up some scaffolding there so they can get up to that high level. But they're starting to fine-tune it a little bit. And then what I want to do is I want to show what Dino's doing to really fine-tune looking at the columns and how he's making those columns look nice and square. So I wanted to show you guys Dino's fine-tuning of the columns when he's doing the rendering. So one of the things that I did not notice yesterday is see how they take nails and see the string line on both sides? I don't know, did you guys notice that yesterday? I didn't notice it. So they put two nails here, and then two nails at the bottom of the column. And then that gives Dino a guide of exactly where he needs to work the column. And look at the fine work that he's doing here. So what he's doing is, now that he basically put that cement sand mix on this column, let it dry, and now he has looks like it's just a metal ruler, and he's just scraping it back and using the string line as a guide just to make sure it's nice and straight. So I did not catch that yesterday, but I just wanted to highlight that work. That's a lot of detail for the columns of the fence. So nice work, Dino. Alright, so standing here in the kitchen area, they did a little bit of work today on the electrical panels. So for any new viewers, I asked for two panels. The main line, this PVC line right here, goes up through the wall and goes out into the attic area. So the main line from the pole will come in here. And these four breakers are for the four split air cons. So the main line will come in and electrify this area right here, which will be the four main air cons. And then we'll jump the electric to the main panel. And then you guys can see that there's a second PVC line. And that's going to be buried in the wall going out to the attic as well. And what that's going to be for is future solar. Because my thought process is have the house hooked up to this panel except for the four air cons. And then if we do solar, I don't think I'm interested in doing a tie-in to the grid. So I would leave the four air cons hooked to the grid and then disconnect because we're jumping, and disconnect and have the main panel hooked to the solar because there's really not a big draw of electricity in this house. A couple refrigerators, you got the pressure tank pump, you got all the LED lights in the house. So really, there's really not a lot of draw. Throw in the pool pump in this panel. So our thought, and this may or may not happen over time, it's not in the budget now, but to leave the four air cons hooked to the grid So if we use aircon on a regular basis, we'd have a bill, even though we may have solar someday. But the majority of the home would be powered off of solar. So that's the thought process. Don't know if this is a good idea or not. I'm not an electrician. I asked the electrician here on site, and he said it was a good idea. So that's what we did. So 2 panels, and they're starting to do the rough in here today. So here in the back spare bedroom, so again, they're just starting today with some of the rough in of the electric. So this is where the TV will be. So there'll be an outlet here, and then another one down at the bottom. And then this wall, there'll be 2 outlets. And then on this wall here, there'll be 1 outlet. So basically, the way the contractor did it is just basically walked us around, Wilma and I, and we just said, here's where we think the bed will go, here's where the TV will go, and we just chose the outlets. And then, of course, anywhere where there's an outlet on the outside wall, we ask for an outlet on the outside, because you can't have too many outlets on the outside of your house. So the beginning stages of electrical rough-in. So we've had people ask in the comment section about where will the TV go, and kind of some questions about the furniture. So as you guys know, the kitchen will be against that back wall. There'll be a island here with probably 3 or 4 stools. There'll be a small table here as like a breakfast table, and then we're going to have a china cabinet made for Wilma's dishes. It'll be against this back wall. So that's pretty much going to be the kitchen area, and then that leaves this whole area. This is a large area for living room. So what we're doing is we basically split what we thought was where the kitchen would end, so basically where the stools would be, and we measured it out, divide by 2, and we placed the TV here on this wall. And again, it's pretty much centered. So you can see they're doing the rough-in of where the data line and the electrical will come in for the TV. So the outlet for the TV will be here, and then there'll be another outlet here in the bottom. And then you can see the hole there in the concrete. That's where the TV will be on the other side as well. So we'll run an Ethernet cable down this conduit, and then a second Ethernet through the wall, just in case our Wi-Fi mesh system doesn't link well from the different mesh boxes because of the concrete walls. We'll already have Ethernet run in the walls everywhere where we think we're going to have a Wi-Fi mesh. So just in case it doesn't connect because of the concrete walls, we'll already have the Ethernet, and then we can hardwire the mesh system, which will work fine as well. So we'll have the option to go either way. But the TV will be here on this wall, and then directly on the other side of this wall will be the TV for the master bedroom. So we designed them to be close together. And then, of course, our furniture will be all against this back wall here, all through here. And it'll more than likely be either an L or a U shape. And then I do have a standalone air conditioner, aircon, that I brought from the US that we're using in the townhome now, and it works very good. So just in case our 2.5 horsepower Samsung that we'll be installing, I believe it gets installed here. It may be on this wall. I have to check with the contractor. Just in case that can't handle it, there'll be a standalone aircon right here, and you can see that there is a mark there for an outlet. So there'll be an outlet there, and there also will be exhaust going through. And this wall here is the large reveal of the column that'll go up. So there will be a vent here for the aircon, which is pretty small. It's about 4 inches by 6 inches, and it has a grate in the front so it doesn't allow any bugs to come in. But there will be a supplemental aircon, a standing type, and it's about 36 inches high. LG, works really good. I used it in the US, and I brought it here, and it works really well. So we'll have that here in this corner just in case we need it. But again, once again, everyone's telling us with the beautiful breeze that we have, and having large openings here with screens, and then having that open there. We don't think we're going to use a lot of aircon, but I guess we'll find out. But just standing here right now, there's got to be a 5-mile-an-hour breeze right in my face, and it always seems to be here. 9 out of 10 days, or even a higher percentage, almost every day there is a nice breeze coming off of the ocean. And we're at 600 meters elevation, so I believe that's about 1,800 feet, so we're up pretty high. So that alone, you're cooler, at least 10 degrees cooler between here and downtown Darwin, which is about 3 miles from here. So we feel that just adding that extra aircon here, installing it, would be enough to keep this room cool. And then actually in the master and the 2 spare bedrooms, the air cons will be oversized. If you take the horsepower and how much square meters are in the rooms, they'll all be oversized. So we don't have a concern about that. But this room is quite large, and if you do the math, 2.5 horsepower is a little bit underpowered, but adding that one standalone aircon here will more than make up for that. So we feel pretty confident that we'll be able to cool the building, cool the house nicely. Okay, so today Wilma and I went downtown in Dumaguete, and we met with the company that's going to provide the roofing for the house. So basically, it's a pretty simple process. We talked to the salesperson, and we have the contact's name of the sales engineer. And once we're ready, the contractor will call her and tell her to come up to the site for the measurements. So they come up and they'll measure the entire project. So, the entire house, the carport, dirty kitchen, the pergola, everywhere that we're going to have roof, and she'll do all the measurements. And once we call her, they said that she'd be on site 1 to 2 work days from the point that we contact her. Then it takes her 2 days to do the quote / contract. And then the contractor would go down to the store, sign the contract, and put 50% down on the price of the roofing. And we already picked the roofing. It's pure white, baked on both sides. Was real nice. So that's already been picked out. So then once we pay the 50% down, the contractor puts the 50% down. It takes 10 to 14 days for them to cut all the steel to size and to get it trucked up and delivered to the site in 14 days. And what I liked about this is they do it in the length of the house. So all the steel will go from the front to the back, and they cut it to length. There'll be no joints going from front to back. Now obviously the steel itself is 1 meter wide, so every meter there'll be an overlap, but there'll be no joints from front to back. So I thought that was good. They measure it up and cut it to size, so it'll basically go on 1 meter at a time, the full length. Now what we also decided, and I think I've said this in a couple videos, is that with the contracted price, the contractor puts 1 layer of insulation on top of these purlins, but under the steel roofing. So I asked if I could just double up on that and just pay the difference, and he said that's not a problem. So then he was up here yesterday, and I said, well, what happened if we triple it up, go 3 layers of insulation instead of the standard 1? And I asked his opinion, is it a waste of money, or is it a value in adding 3 times as much insulation? And then of course, if it's 3 times as thick, would there be any issue with, you know, drilling into the metal roofing and attaching it, screwing it into the purlins? And he said, you know, 3 layers would not be a problem. So he said, of course, 3 layers would be better than 2, which I thought that would be the answer. So he gave us a price of what it costs to do 1 layer of insulation. So we basically would just have to double that and do 3 layers. And Wilma and I said, let's go for it. So we're going to do 3 layers of insulation, just thinking that it would help with the, you know, sun beating on it, and then also with the steel being white, that'll help as well. So good news there. You know, the whole process would take about a little less than 20 days from the point of contacting the engineer to come up to measure, to get the quote, to sign the contract, for them to make the steel and deliver it. It'll all be done in less than 20 days. So we'll fill you guys in on actually when we pull the trigger, and when the engineer gets up here, I'll try to be here so I could video the engineer doing the actual measurement of the roof. All right, guys, I have some good news, and the good news is tomorrow, Saturday, and we will be pouring this area on Saturday. Now, there is a side story, so I will go ahead and share the side story. Late yesterday afternoon, I talked to Felix as well as Jerry, and they said that it would take probably to Monday, just because they had to box up an area there, and then they haven't done any of the tie wire. One thing that I haven't shown, and there's an example there. The top of the forms, every so many feet, they put wire and tie it very tightly to hold the forms together. So you know, you can see them and hear them hammering it together with the plywood and the cocoa lumber. And then of course all the tie wire inside with all the rebar beams. But one of the things I haven't shown is that they come through and do a tie all the way around, which wasn't done yet. So they said that's going to take some time, and they were going to push the pour to Monday. So then the story is I sweetened the pot a little bit. I said to the guys, well, Saturday is the short work day. They typically work to 5 o'clock. They work to 3:30 on Saturdays. So I said, hey, if you guys get the pour done on Saturday, get all the tie wires in today, form up everything, I'll buy you guys 2 cases of beer. And the guys here jumped at that. So we were here early this morning, and there was 5 guys up here doing all the tie wire. And it's lunchtime now, and you can see that everything is formed up. So they got motivated. So I'll zoom in there. That was not formed up yesterday. That is. That corner over there was not formed up yesterday. It now is. And 5 guys was up there tying all the forms together. So we will be pouring on Saturday. And I think that'll be great to get it done just a day sooner. And then it can sit and dry you know, over Sunday and come back on Monday and see what it looks like. So that's the backstory.